breaking news on WFLA Now.
We have breaking news here on WFLA Now where graphic details have just been released. It's an update of a story that we broke over the weekend of the woman who was severely beaten in her Brooksville apartment. She remains in critical condition after we've just learned that she was beaten nearly to death with a hammer by a man that she had just met after an online date. Hey there, everybody. WFLA Now's JB Buhner here with you live on stream. This is a really terrifying story, one that's going to really just set off the alarm bells as to what can happen with strangers that you meet on the internet. We talk about it all the time here on 8 on Your Side, you know, letting you know that there are always some dangerous folks out there that you can meet online. Well, this is an instance where an online date that was set up here in our area in Hernando County, Florida, in Brooksville, went horrifically wrong for a woman and also a 7-year-old child that was home at the time. So a quick disclaimer, this is a little bit of an alarming story with some graphic details that we're going to be going into here, getting into the arrest report that we have received just a short time ago. So I'm going to be reading through this here with you, everybody. And some of the details might be alarming to some of our viewers out there because it's just one of those stories that is just hard to believe took place. And not only did it take place, but it took place right here in the Tampa Bay area. So I'm going to kind of paraphrase the first part of the arrest report here. And the reason being is because a lot of this was done by a male neighbor who heard that the attack was going on, heard, screaming or heard commotion from next door and rushed in. And we're going to get into that in a moment, but I want to actually get into what transpired again in the Brooksville apartment. The investigation revealed that the victim met the suspect on an online dating site the day before the attack. So the man here, let's go full screen, everybody. The man here on your screen, and I want to make sure that I have his name right. It is Timothy Allen Shea Kidd. Again, white male, later identified as Timothy Allen Shea Kidd. And we're going to get into Kidd and what exactly he did here. But again, the investigation revealed that the female victim met Kidd on an online dating site the day before the attack took place. On August 16th, the victim drove to Ocala to pick up Kidd. So the woman picked him up. Again, they connected via an online dating service. She brought him back to her apartment along with her child, and they spent the night there at the apartment. So it was 3 of them in the apartment: Kidd, the victim, and the victim's 7-year-old child. The victim and the suspect, Kidd, argued during the night and then again into the morning about sexual relations, according to the Hernando County Sheriff's Office. In the morning, the victim told the suspect that he needed to leave. After being told to leave, the suspect hit the victim in the head with a hammer. The suspect then placed his hand over the victim's mouth, preventing her from screaming. During this time, the child came, again, 7 years old, the child came running into the bedroom after hearing the commotion. Kidd struck the victim again as the 7-year-old was rushing in to see what was going on. The victim was able to scream, alerting the neighbor to the attack, and that's when the neighbor showed up. Now, Kidd left the apartment, and the victim, who was suffering from force blunt trauma to the head from, again, several, at least 2, maybe multiple, several strikes with a hammer to the head, she was able to lock the door, preventing him from returning. Kidd left behind a backpack, according again to the Hernando County Sheriff's Office, containing his ID. However, detectives had to determine if the identification actually belonged to him, if it was a fraudulent ID or a made-up ID. Again, this was all prearranged via an online date. He had provided the victim with a different name, so that's a whole nother aspect to this story. Was that the name? So his official name, according to the record, is Timothy Allen Shea Kidd. Last name spelled Kydd, but that is not the name that he gave to the online dating service, nor is it the name that he gave to the woman when they met in Brooksville. So once his identity was verified, according to the Hernando County Sheriff's Office, detectives learned that Kidd had previous arrests for violent crimes and he had open cases in other local jurisdictions. There was a warrant issued for his arrest for attempted murder without bond, and he was arrested. Throughout the evening, I'm reading this for the first time, so excuse me, everybody, because I haven't gotten this far into the arrest report. Throughout the evening, Kidd took the opportunity to post comments on the Hernando County Sheriff's Office Facebook page regarding the incident. He even called the Hernando County Sheriff's Office to speak with the detective to advise him that he was in Georgia. Unbeknownst to Kidd and other criminals like him, we've done this once or twice. That's the exact line from this. So everybody, arrest made. Yeah, Timothy Allen Shea Kidd. Okay, I'm done reading the arrest report here, everybody. This is a very terrifying case. I know that we're just engaging a new digital audience. The woman is in critical condition. That's the last that we've heard. Her identity has not been revealed. But again, she had just met a man via an online dating service. They had connected online. She went to pick him up, brought him back to her apartment. Again, we believe that we do not know this for certain, but we do not believe there was nothing stated in the arrest report that they had any previous relationship whatsoever. So this is a stranger that she's going to pick up, not only bring back to her apartment in her vehicle, as we're being told, but also home with a 7-year-old, her 7-year-old child. That is when apparently they spent the night together. They spent the morning together. We don't know when exactly it took a turn for the worse, but there was an argument regarding sexual relations. And that argument, we believe, led into this attack with a hammer. Again, multiple strikes with the hammer. And the woman was fortunate to be able enough to rise to her feet and able to get to the door and lock the door when he fled the scene. One more, actually, I forgot to tell you about the neighbor. The neighbor saw the man fleeing the scene and was the one who knocked on the door. And I believe that when the woman realized that it wasn't Kidd returning, opened the door, and that's when authorities were contacted. So the neighbor stepping in here, we don't know exactly how much assistance the neighbor provided, other than perhaps, going over to his neighbor's place to see what was going on and making sure that the authorities were contacted. But the neighbor making a critical move here and checking to see if she was okay. So really a terrifying set of circumstances here that began with an online date. Again, Timothy Kidd is the man here on your screen. We're not exactly sure where this mugshot is coming from. We don't know if this is a mugshot from a previous. When we receive mugshots for arrests, a lot of times in the original release, we might be given a mugshot that is from a previous arrest somewhere earlier in their criminal history. But most of the time, we're getting a mugshot that is current, a mugshot with the booking for their most recent arrest, the arrest in question, the arrest that we're talking about. I'm not exactly sure where this mugshot is coming from, but it's alarming in that just he's smiling. He has a little bit of a smug look on his face. Most mugshots, if you're being arrested for attempted murder, most mugshots, you're not smiling like this. But that's just a very basic observation. Again, this could be a mugshot from an arrest, a different arrest. The Hernando County Sheriff's Office, and I'll bring up my notes here again, the Hernando County Sheriff's Office did note that he had previous arrests for violent crimes and he had open cases in other local jurisdictions. We're going to hopefully find out some more about what those local jurisdictions were if they're here in the Bay Area ahead of our newscast tonight. But again, we're not exactly sure if this mugshot is connected to the booking for the most recent arrest for attempted murder, or if this is just one that was blasted out to the media to share that this breaking update that they had made an arrest in this terrible, terrible incident in Brooksville where a woman was severely beaten in her own apartment. One of those hammer strikes, again to the head, or one of those hammer strikes occurring with her 7-year-old child witnessing it. So an absolutely terrifying incident. I'm going to do my very best here, everybody, to take some of your questions and comments. We're here on WFLA Now, which is what streams to WFLA's app, WFLA.com, and WFLA's Facebook page, where we can take your questions, we can take your comments. I'll do my very best to answer some of the ones. There's some people talking about blaming the victim. There is absolutely no. I just want to address that really quickly before I get into some of the questions here. There's no blaming the victim in this case. We're explaining exactly what happened, the circumstantial, the circumstances that led up to this attack happening. So there's no blame being aside. There was an online date, an online connection that happened on an online dating site. We don't know what site that was, but there was an online date. The woman went to go pick him up, brought him back to her house with a 7-year-old child that was home. There's no blaming here going on. We're explaining the circumstances of what happened in the case, and that man who as we're being told 48 hours earlier was a complete stranger to her, or that, again, that's what's coming from the Hernando County Sheriff's Office, is the same man who allegedly beat her nearly to death with a hammer with her 7-year-old child, witnessing part of that attack. So, let's see here. Some more comments. Dirk saying, blame aside, facts are what led to this. All I'm doing, everybody, is just reading the arrest report coming in from the Hernando County Sheriff's Office. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I might have miscommunicated or misconstrued what a couple people were saying. I thought that people were telling me that I was doing victim blaming, or victim shaming, which I am not doing in and of at all. That is not what I do. So you were responding to some other commenters. So apologies for misconstruing some of the comments. I was, again, just reading. All I've read is pretty much details from the arrest report coming in from Hernando County. So those comments were in response to some other people who are who allegedly in the comment section blaming the victim, which, again, that victim right now is in critical condition. This is a terrifying situation. Online dates happen all the time, people, all the time, and some of them end in magical ways for people. Online dating is a blessing for so many people who use it as a way to find somebody special. And we hear about so many online dating success stories, but we also hear not as many cases like this. This is an extreme case, but we also hear about those cases that are absolutely terrifying, where, again, a big part of this story to me is that he didn't give his real name. The identification that he left behind in the apartment when he fled the scene, according to sheriff's deputies, that the identification didn't match up with the name that he had provided to the online dating service and to the woman herself. So here we have a case where a man is lying from the get-go about who he is, perhaps to conceal the fact that, again, he had a previous criminal history with active cases in other local jurisdictions, according to the Hernando County Sheriff's Office. So when you're dealing with online dating, it's a vast, humongous, world out there that could potentially be scary because you don't know who people really are, and that's I think what some people are getting at. Reading some more comments here. Lindy, for example, just saying, she goes, I met my husband on one online dating site, but definitely didn't take him home until I really got to know him. I think that is pretty common. Let's see here. Yeah, Melanie saying, my son met his girlfriend online. She's a keeper. Yeah, guys, there are so many wonderful success stories. 2 of my closest friends in the world met via online dating. Online dating is such a great service for people who are really looking to put themselves out there and find somebody special. And this is just a case where things just went really, really, really wrong. And as Maya asking what dating site, don't know which dating site. They did not identify the dating site online in the arrest report. Excuse me. But again, just to I think that we've talked to experts here at 8 on Your Side when you talk about online dating and about how every time you pull up a profile and you meet somebody, you don't know who they are. Sure, they claim this is their picture and this is their dog and this is where they live, the picture of their house, and this is their name, but you really don't know. You really never know. Anything and everything can be fabricated on the internet. Anything and everything. So you have to be really careful. And we've done stories here at 8 on Your Side about some common practices. In years past, this is going back years, we've done some stories. And not in relation to any particular incident that took place, just in general, safe practices when it comes to online dating. And one of the things that are commonly talked about by experts in the field of online dating is that you always encourage to meet in a public place for the first time, get to know the person in public places. Otherwise, you might be potentially putting yourself out there, and putting yourself potentially in a dangerous situation. Again, not saying that the victim is doing anything wrong in this particular case. That's not for me to say. I'm referring to experts who have said that meeting in public places is probably best practice for online dating. But that's just some of the stories that we've done in the past. And again, the facts of the case, according to the Hernando County Sheriff's Office, are this. They met online, and after a brief exchange, really a day earlier, they met the next day when she went to go pick him up and bring him back to her apartment with a 7-year-old child. Those are the facts according to the Hernando County Sheriff's Office. And that's when bringing a stranger back to your home can be whether you meet somebody online or if it's somebody on the street. It doesn't really matter where you meet them. Anytime you welcome a stranger into your home, it can be a terrifying possibility of what could be happening next. You just don't know. I'm gonna read this is a longer comment. I usually don't read longer comments, but I just want to read. Pam says, "Why would you go pick up someone that you just met the day before and bring him until you're home with your child to stay overnight? I hope this lady will be fine, but what was going through her mind? This should be a wake-up call to people that use online dating services. Don't meet them alone and meet them in a public place." That's the comment from Pam. Again, I'm going to try to read as many comments here as possible. Ariel Alexis saying, "It's scary to date and find love, man. This is why women stay single." The internet, I think it's easier than ever. I think it's easier now than it was 10, 15 years ago because people have become more tech savvy. The average American, I believe, has become more tech savvy. It is more easier than ever to fabricate and completely falsify your identity for something like an online dating service. I can go on Facebook right now and steal somebody's photo and make a Facebook profile or make a Gmail account or whatever in minutes. It's not difficult. You find a JPEG, you make up some name, you make up a fake email account, a brand new email account, which you can make. Free email accounts can be made within seconds, and poof, you have an identity, and you can use that identity to get on an online dating site, so you never really know who it is. And that's why, this is just me kind of sharing my opinion. Being a technology reporter, I cover a lot of technology stories like this one, or stories that have a connection to technology. I think it's easier now, or it's easier now for the average American to create a fake identity, or it's more prevalent now because it's so easy to do it. I bet you could even, I'm not even going to, do it, but I bet you could even Google ways to, make stuff up online, make a fake this or make a fake that. I bet you it's a click away. Let's see here, everybody. I know that some people are going back and forth here in the comments. Gloria wants to know if he's done this before. I want to read the exact line, Gloria, for you from the arrest report. Once his identity was verified, detectives learned the kid had previous arrests for violent crimes and had open cases in other local jurisdictions. We're going to get on the phone and find out exactly what that line means, because is this somebody who has done this time and time again? I believe that we have a new mugshot. We do. We do have a new mugshot. All right, everybody. So, breaking news here, everybody. A new mugshot now just posted online. I'm going to share this here with you. Actually, let's come back here to this look. Let's see. I'm going to bring up my computer screen, everybody, so hopefully I can show this to you. Let's take a look. I believe there it is. All right, this is the brand new mugshot. A very different mugshot from what we had previously, right? Right there. So that was a picture that we had released in the initial release from the Hernando County Sheriff's Office. I believe that this now is the mugshot release for the arrest of attempted murder, no bond, for Timothy Allen Shea Kidd, K-Y-D-D. Again, this is just into the newsroom moments ago, everybody. A brand new look at the suspect here. As Summer is noting, yes, he is not smiling in this picture. Look at the difference between that, which again, this was in the initial arrest report released by Hernando County Sheriff's Office. This is what they first sent out because they want to share information with the media as quickly as they can. And then now that he has a mugshot that is fit for sharing to the media, or that's been processed, there we have that. So there you have it, everybody. Yeah, Jen making a good point. Jen says, I live in Hernando County. This man was commenting on the Sheriff Department Facebook page under his wanted picture. He's legit crazy, exclamation point, according to Jen. Yeah, that Jen, that is factual. I'm going to read this here from the arrest report. Again, from the Hernando County Sheriff's Office arrest report. Throughout the evening, Kidd took the opportunity to post comments on the Hernando County Sheriff's Office Facebook page regarding this incident. He even called HCSO to speak to Detective Berger to advise that he was in Georgia. Unbeknownst to Kidd and other criminals like him, we've done this once or twice. Okay, so that's the exact context of the line. And he was arrested by authorities in Marion County, Florida. So, okay, so that provides me with a little bit more details here as to Kidd's whereabouts and what he was up to. So he was, for those of you who are familiar, you might not be familiar with the term trolling. Trolling is when you, it's probably it's a very 2019 word for instigating. Trolling is an online form of instigating where you go somewhere to either poke fun or to rile people up or to get a reaction, provoke a response out of people. So what he was clearly doing was trolling the Hernando County Sheriff's Office online and commenting on the own post related to this story. He was commenting on those same posts on the Hernando County Sheriff's Office Facebook page, and then even went as far to call up the detective on the case, Detective Berger, and say that he was in Georgia. But no, they found him in Marion County, Florida. So there you have it, everybody. Tara Barton commenting in response to that, sounds like he gets off to taunting officials. Right, Jen was the one who was saying that he looks legit crazy. So is he crazy? Is he taunting the authorities? Again, it's on the record. The arrest report's on the record. It's a public release to the media, to all of you at home. You're the public, and this is a release for you guys. Again, they were the ones noting that he said he was in Georgia. He was taunting or trolling or instigating, however you want to phrase it, by commenting on this story on their Facebook page and then tried to make up a claim that he was in Georgia, but he was not in Georgia. Christine Werner asking the golden question, the question I wish I had an answer for you, Christine. Any update on her condition? We've just been told that she's in critical condition at an area hospital after suffering hammer strikes to the head. It's terrible, and also terrible for the 7-year-old to be part of it. The 7-year-old heard the commotion, rushed in, and witnessed one of the hammer strikes, according to the Hernando County Sheriff's Office release. Let's see here. All right, everybody. We're working on this story. I got to get on the phone. I got to call up the Hernando County Sheriff's Office because we want to know a little bit more about his criminal history. We want to know a little bit more about what he was doing on Facebook. And most importantly, we want to know how the female victim is doing. And we're going to be working on getting you that information for our newscast tonight here on WFLA. We'll get you an update. 8 on your side, working to make sure you guys are informed about all of our stories that we're working on throughout the day. And this is just one of them. But again, Timothy Allen Shea Kidd. 4 names. Timothy Allen Shea Kidd. That's the mugshot that was just released a short time ago. We're working more to get you more details on the story, everybody. I'm JB Buno. And look for the story on your 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock newscast tonight on WFLA News Channel 8, 8 on your side. Thanks for being with us.